Okay, so I know you guys want a video of an update of me and my boyfriend, but he's working right now and I'm home alone, so I decided to do a video because I just put him down and he was being fussy, but he calmed down pretty quick. And I know the camera looks weird. It's just that it's really cloudy outside, so there's barely any light, sorry. And I have a big window on this side, a big window on this side, and it's still not helping. So okay, so this is gonna be my C-section story because I know I didn't really go into detail in my labor and delivery story, so I'm gonna be saying it again since you guys wanted to hear this story. So, okay, we started around 4 o'clock or 3:40. I wasn't looking at the clock, so they told me that they had to do an emergency C-section, and they were putting oxygen on me, so I had an oxygen mask, and they said that they had to do a C-section, so I was like, okay, and they told me that I could pick one person to go with me in the OR, and so I picked Juwan, obviously, and so I remember that I had started shaking around 12 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the 11 or 12 in the morning. I started shaking, and my fingers, it started with my hands, then it went down to my arms, and then it went up to my shoulders, and I couldn't control my arms, so I looked really, really dumb. And my mom got scared because she had gone outside for an hour and fell asleep on the sofa. And so when she came back, I was like all shaking and almost, she said that I looked like I was about to jump out of the bed because that's how bad it was. And so I was shaking really bad, but they took me to the OR, and I remember that the first thing I noticed, it was really, really bright in there, and that bothered me because I just wanted to sleep. I was tired. I was crabby, and then they had to move me from the gurney to the actual operating table, and I was really, really scared because everything hurt, and the epidural was wearing off, and so I could feel everything. And so they were gonna pick me up and put me on the bed, on the table, my bad. And I was really scared that I didn't want it to hurt, but it didn't. And then they had to tilt me, so I was like laying down. They had to tilt me sideways to like do something with my back, and then tilt me the other way. And I thought I was gonna fall off the bed, and I guess the nurse saw that, and so she was like, "You're not gonna fall off," and I was like, "Okay," but I was so scared they were gonna drop me. I really thought they were gonna drop me, but they didn't. And then so they laid me down, they put the little curtain up so I couldn't see my stomach or the actual cutting. So they put the little curtain up, and Joanne was right next to me on this side, which is my left side, but for you guys I think it's your right. But anyway, he was on my left side. He was just, I think he was standing, or maybe he had a chair, I don't know. But I had to tell the doctor that was behind me, he was kind of like a coach because he was telling me what to do and what not to do. He had to tell me to breathe right. He was telling me to calm down. He was telling me that I had to relax because I guess I was like being panicky. I didn't think I was being panicky, but I guess I was because he was telling me to stop breathing this way and start breathing this way. So I had to breathe through my nose, let it out through my mouth, and then so anyway, I had to tell him to strap me down because my arms were like falling off the little, it was a table, then two sections that go out for your arms, so I was like this, but they were like falling all over the place, and so he had to strap me down. And then they started cutting me, and I felt it. It felt like a needle, but it wasn't like a big pain. It just felt like I was getting a needle in my stomach. And so I told them, I was like, oh, I can still feel it. So they gave me more the anesthesia, I guess you could say. And so they gave me more of that, and I didn't feel the cut because I guess they had done it already, since I could feel them already doing stuff. And I felt when they broke my bag, or I don't know what it was. I think they ripped my bag or they cut my uterus, but I felt that, and it didn't hurt at all. It felt like a pop. And so I knew that's when they had gotten him out, but I didn't hear him cry. And Joanne told me, "Do you hear that?" And I said, "No." And he said he's crying, and I didn't hear him. And so I guess I was like so out of it with so much medication that I didn't hear his cries. And after like a minute, I heard him crying. And he left. He had left my side, but I didn't even notice. And I know that he had left my side because afterwards I checked my phone and he had taken pictures of Levi with the doctors cleaning him and everything. And so then the doctor that had done the incision, he started putting my organs back in. And that was the most painful thing I had ever felt. The cut is like maybe 6 inches long. It was about this big, about the length of my face. And he was putting everything back in, and I could feel him pushing like this. And Joanne says that he was positioned like if he was pushing a big boulder, like with his feet positioned so he could push better. And I don't remember. Oh, my bad. I was thinking of something else. But he was pushing, trying to get my organs back in. And it hurt so bad. I felt like I was going to scream because the pain was so bad. And it felt like my lungs didn't have any room to breathe. And so I was taking super small breaths. And so I had to take a lot. And I was breathing so much and trying to breathe with my nose first, then letting it out with my mouth, because that's what the doctor behind me was telling me to do. And I don't even know how I listened because it hurt so bad. And I think the worst part wasn't the pain. It was, I could feel my heart inside of me. And I could feel it inside. But I could also feel it falling down towards the floor. And it's so hard to explain because nobody believes me. But it felt like my heart was falling to the floor, like if it was getting farther and farther away from me, and I couldn't get it back, but I could still feel it inside of me. So it was not scary. It was just a horrible feeling, and it was uncomfortable. It was such a horrible thing to feel, to not be able to, I don't know what the word, but I felt like my heart was leaving me, and so that was the worst thing. Then he kept pushing for like 5 minutes, trying to get my organs back in, and that was so painful. I can't even explain how bad it was. But then when he finally got my organs back in, I felt everything go back in place, and it was like a big pop, and that was it hurt. But then right after the pop, everything was back to normal. So the pain went away, and I guess they stitched me up. And there was a moment when I was getting the C-section done where I was staring into nothing. It's like when you're staring into space and then you realize you're staring at someone, and it's so embarrassing. That's how it was. I was staring into nothing, but I remember seeing everything, but not staring at anything particular, and my mind was off. I wasn't thinking anything at all. I wasn't thinking. I was just there. And so that was really weird because I had never done anything like that or gone through anything like that, and I didn't realize I kind of like passed out. But I remember it was like 5-10 seconds that I wasn't thinking at all. My mind was off, and I was just staring into space. And so when I finally realized what I was doing, I started remembering everything. And so, yeah, those 10 seconds were really weird. But then they, I don't remember them putting me into the gurney. But I do remember being in the gurney and moving somewhere, probably my new room, because they did move me from the first room to the postpartum room. And so I was moving somewhere and they were pushing me, and I remember that I had my arm like this, and I looked down and he was right here, and I don't know who it was, but it was either my dad or my mom telling me to hug him or something. I don't remember. And what I did, I was so dumb. I got my finger, or I think it was this one because I was holding with this one. I got my finger and I did this, trying to like pet him or something. And after that, I don't remember anything. I passed out, and I guess I was sleeping for a long time because my mom says that for like 3 hours, he was just looking around the room. I guess everything was so new to him. He wanted to look at everything. And my mom says that when he was born, from here all the way up was like purple, almost black. And then this arm, his right arm, was all black and purple. Okay, so I decided to move closer to the window because I was really dark, and so it's just almost 6 o'clock, I think, or almost 5, I'm not sure, but it's really dark outside. So I was saying his left arm was all purple and black, and also his little fingernails, they were really dark, and I don't remember that, but my mom said that she asked the doctor, and the doctor was like, it's because he was trying so hard to push and get down further that his circulation was cutting off. And so when he was born, his cut was because his face was downward where it was supposed to be, and it was facing my back, which is the best position he could be in. But he was rubbing his nose against my bone, so it was cutting him every time he'd push, and that must have been so painful for him because it was a big cut, and I felt really bad for him. But that's my C-section story.